Welcome to Washington Football Week with your host, one half of that dynamic duo, Sean Spencer, and South Carolina's finest, Will Kramer.
Don't play us if you're undefeated.
Where we celebrate past success while looking to a bright future. There's a youth movement in Washington, and they're ready to take the reins, led by firefighters.
Play aggressive.
It's a new day, new dawn, no longer the laughing stock. It's time to take them.
What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy, Sean Spencer, one half of that dynamic duo that is Let's Talk Football. And you know what day it is, ladies and gentlemen. It's Wednesday, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Hump Day! And that means I'm with my guy, South Carolina's finest, Will Kramer. What up, Will?
Guess what, man?
What's up?
I got the short sleeves back.
Woo!
We're
Yes,
back
sir.
to normal weather. Now we are having these ridiculous swings in the morning where we go from 50 to 80. So that's kind of like dressing the boys for school is the absolute worst. Because Patrick, runs around so much at aftercare that I'm like, he's got to wear shorts. But he's the only kid walking in at 7:30 wearing shorts and a coat. I'm just like, this 30-degree swings are a little bit much, just a little bit much. But no, doing well, man. It's been a busy week, but happy to be here. Happy to talk about another victory on Sunday. We had another victory Monday, and I wore my skin shirt as I drove around and got the oil changed, and I was like, everyone notice. Everyone take notice.
That's right. I love it. What's going on, Johnny?
Johnny!
Yo, absolutely, man. I mean, another victory, and Will, it stinks to say. It's nice to say this, but the bar wasn't that high. We have eclipsed last year's win total with 5 wins. Come on, 5 times we've got it done. I don't care who we played. Getting it done in Washington means something to us, Will, and I'm super excited about that, man. Even if it was the Panthers, I don't care. I'm excited.
Dude, I didn't know that. It's not even October, and we have more wins than last year.
Come on.
That's a big deal. That's a big
really
deal.
big deal.
And you know what? I recognize that we've beaten some bad teams, but you know what we've also done against these bad teams? We've beaten them big time. We've crushed them. We've talked about this the last couple of shows. This is not the Trayvon Moehrig dropping a surefire interception as we drive down to kick the game-winning field goal type win against a team that's not as good. This is by the second quarter. I'm just sitting back, watching the game, enjoying what happens, not reacting. Like my reactions are like, nice. All right, I like that. But like, I'm not having these like jumping up and down, reactions. It's a very calm Sunday afternoon in the Kramer household these days. That's nice.
Oh yeah, definitely not something we're used to over the years. But yeah, to your point, there is definitely some points where it's kind of like, almost like, yeah, we're exposed to do this. We expect to kind of do this year with how we've been playing. Obviously, there was a little hiccup this week as Johnny's talking about how's Jaden doing. We'll definitely discuss that in just a second. That was something that made all of us as Washington fans collectively hold our breath. So we're going to talk about that. But Will, let's go. We know it's the Panthers. We know, whatever. But they suit up. We suit up. We had a lot of players on our team. The reason why this score was so big, we had a lot of players on our team from the Panthers, and you saw it. Frankie Louvu, he came to play. These guys came to play because it's their former team, and it's the fact that they just look alive. That defense, flying around the ball, going after him. I'm not gonna lie, Will. There was a point where I kind of felt bad for Andy Dalton. I was like, because you can't get anything done. This defense is eating you alive, brother.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, so I've got a friend down here, and I said, hey, I was getting a little cocky Sunday morning, and I said, well, how long until this game's over? And she was like, I said by the second half. She was like, first quarter. And when they were driving, and then Dante Fowler gets a pick six where Dalton just like threw it right into him. I just laughed. I mean, I jumped up. I said, oh, he got it. There he goes. But I also just had to laugh when that happened, because it's just like, all right, we got it. We knew we were the better team. We knew we'd probably win, but it was like when. And that first drive, it was like, okay, well, this game's over. Got this. All right. And I just had to kind of laugh at that. And like you said, there are times Andy Dalton was just like running for his life. It's like they have no chance right now. They're a mess.
No. And shout out to my brother. Jarrett did the best job he could. I went down and I was talking to Alex, and I was talking to Anton, right before the game. And so we missed that interception. So when we got up, we turned the game on, and Jarrett said 7-0 already. Come on. And we kept saying for a while, like, it wasn't until halftime that we found out it was a pick six. But it was just like, oh, Jarrett, I feel for you, buddy. I feel for you. But I think, and again, we're going to get to this injury in a second, but it was a funny moment, not for us, but for Jarrett when JD5 went down, because he started to get excited, because he was like, all right, it's 10-0. Oh, we have a shot now. We have a shot in this game.
Yeah.
But, and credit to Marcus Mariota. And, hey, I have said my things. I've said my negative stuff about you. I have said that if we have Mariota as a backup, we don't have a backup. But shout out to you, man. You made the best of your opportunity to get in there. You looked good. All things considered, you look good. I'm excited that he was able to get some play time in there. And this is what we wanted from him in particular. You're going to get in the game, get in here, do what you have to do. Nothing crazy. Didn't look good from the start. I know you had to go back on your words early on, but he did what he had to do. I'm good with that.
Well, so, it kind of says a little bit of we called you all out on this, Adam Peters and Dan Quinn. When you signed this guy, we said, oh, are they doing this because they're going to draft Jaden Daniels and they want to have some continuity? And I think that was a good thing. I think the fact that you don't go from one quarterback style to the next is a really good thing that they were able to do. And yes, I may have said we need to trade for Sam Howell in our group chat. That and he did a lot better. I'm gonna stop there because I know we still have to talk about the offense, and I've got some things. But Mariota did a darn good job as a backup. So good for him. And let me just point out one more time. I tell you, this is why preseason means nothing. Because he was awful in training camp. He was awful in preseason. But you also don't have any clue what those players and what those coaches are working on in the preseason. Yeah. And it's a whole lot different when the games matter and they actually need to get yardage and they need to scramble and they need to buy time and they have to care, And he did what a backup should do and then some. So happy to talk about that real soon. But good job to him. But also just like, I just love watching these games and being relaxed. Yeah. Like we've had a bunch of them this fall so far, where it's like we know we're going to win. The outcome is like this, and it's just really nice. It's really nice.
Come on, Will. Come on, man. I mean, this. I understand who we played, but damn it, Will, we look good. Like I'm almost into buying that hype that we're one of these top offenses and we're one of these top tier teams, and by the numbers, it's looking that way. But we have to get to this before we can talk about what we could be. Let's discuss what another potential. For those of you that did see the game early on, we saw Jaden has that big run down the sidelines, and I mean he's running, and then he kind of tries to go down and slide and kind of gets rolled up, and then does a little flip, and he gets up and you just see the hand to the rib, and you see it, and everybody I know, and us in our household, my mom was just like, uh oh, and my dad's like, oh, he's fine, and I'm just watching him, and then you see the next play where he, kind of runs out to the left, and he has a guy right there, and then goes just straight down, and it's like, okay, and he's still kind of wincing, and then he has the read option, and he goes again, it's like. And then you see, obviously, the infamous him throwing his helmet down on the sidelines, and he's in the locker room. And then, Will, what was my first thought? RG3.
Oh, totally.
Here we go again. So where are we right now? Like Nick, Johnny asked, what's the status? Are they saying anything?
Yeah. So right now. There's some great comments. So Nathan, we're going to get to that comment, and Johnny, you have a real good comment. We'll get to when we talk offense. So we will include that very soon. But right now they've called him week to week. They haven't called him day to day. They've called him week to week. Now who knows if there's some gamesmanship going on? So the Bears, have to game plan for him whether he's playing or not. But he didn't practice today. Today's Wednesday. I think. Tomorrow's the key. Now Quinn said he's close, but he wants him to be able to practice at full speed and be the player that he is. So I think we'll know more tomorrow. I would say if he does not practice, or if he's even practicing very limited, I think it's a pretty ominous sign for Sunday. Yeah. The good thing is that it was not a major injury. He didn't break a rib.
Yeah.
They haven't said what his injury is to his ribs, but that they said it's not going to be long term. So that's a good thing.
Oh yeah, and I'm not gonna lie. So once you saw him, you heard, obviously you shared with us the tweet where his mom was like, "Yo, he's okay," and Washington. A lot of people saying, "Okay, he's fine." It was almost some part of my mind that was like, we really didn't need him in this game.
No.
So if there was a way that they wanted to injure him, to take him out so that he doesn't get needlessly injured in this game, that would be a nice way to do it. Now, obviously, we don't know. That's just me going to conspiracy land. But with them not saying anything about his injury, they're not telling us the extent. They're not, they're just with the day-to-day and all that. It does kind of make it makes you question it, because not question the injury, but just question, okay, why are they holding their cards close to the vest? You know what I mean? Because it almost gets to the point where I already know all the excitement, all the attention is JD5, Caleb, first pick, second pick, bringing them together, yada, yada. But we're thinking long-term here. If we got to start Mariota this week, I am fine putting Jaden on, with a clipboard on the sidelines. I don't need him out here on the field trying to, because he's going to go extra. He's going to try to go out there and show out. I'm the second pick, but I could have been the first. He's going to try to do those type of things against Caleb. But with that defense, I mean, I know what the fans want to see him in there, and they want to see that game and everything. But, hey, it's a long season. For me, take your time. We saw what happened when we tried to get RG3 back super quickly. So
right. Well, and the idea of what type of hit is going to if it's bruise or whatever it is, what type of hit is it going to take to re-aggravate that injury?
Yes.
And can you make it through a game, or if you expose yourself, if you get hit, are we back at square one? Right. By playing. So that's where we're kind of interested. But the thing is, I actually think less of this game is number one versus number two. I know the NFL would love to hype it as that, but I think this is more about wild card implications.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So this is a big game, because at the end of the season, both these teams could be vying for, and who has tiebreakers to make it into the playoffs. So there's a lot at stake here. But I'm with you here. I'm still at the point where 5-2 is awesome, and this is way better than I thought.
Yeah.
But I'm playing for next year. Honestly, I'm excited for what does next year's team look like. I can't say I'm playing for next year. I'm excited to see what next year's team looks like. So if they decide they need to sit him for a week so that he's ready come the very next game, I'm okay with that. If they feel he can't be 100%, do what he does, or there's a chance whatever he's aggravate can get hurt again, and we're back at the sitting situation next week, I am okay sitting, even if that means it's jeopardizing our chance to lose.
Mm-hmm. That's fair. Are you
Absolutely.
serious?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. And we'll get into why in just a second. But yeah, I'm totally into it. Fine with that.
Oh yeah. You got it. Yeah. Like we've said time in and time out, it's not about this 1 year success. We're not willing to jeopardize our golden boy, essentially, our number one draft pick for 1 year of success, one potential year of us maybe getting to the wild card and getting to the playoffs. I cannot have another RG3 situation. And with that, it's not just the player, it's the management of the player. You know, and he kept saying, "Oh, I'm ready. I'm going." He should never have been back in those games. He shouldn't have been in the playoffs game. You saw what that you're totally threw away your franchise by letting him go out there. We cannot do that with Jaden right now. If we want him to be the long-term guy. You know what I mean? So, but look, let's go.
Well, I was going to kind of jump on that. You're building a team, you're building a culture. And if you are building a culture that you take care of your guys, that you recognize that one game is not worth sacrificing the next 10 or 11 or your season, or the fact that, like, what if he could have played last week? What if he could have come back and they were like, we don't need it. You're sitting, all that stuff. That's an easy one because we were blowing out Carolina. But what if, we're still building something in Washington? That's what people have to remember. Yes, we're 5-2 and we're playing well. It is not even Halloween. Okay. There's a long season in front of us. We still have all our division games left. We've only played one division team and they're the worst team in the division. So we've got a lot harder stuff coming towards us. And so I think it's important that I think it is important that it shows the character of Adam Peters, of Josh Harris, of Dan Quinn, to recognize the person is bigger than the score out there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I think we should talk about, because we were going to jump into the offense, unless this kind of segues into it though. Does this injury change, in your opinion, how they should be using him?
No, I don't think so. I honestly think one of the things that hurt Robert, because that's the comparison we all got to make. One of the things that hurt him was when they kind of did go conservative. One of the threat is the read option. It is the movement. It is the misdirection. And, it is a threat of him running and moving the ball and doing that type of stuff. I can't see them trying to hold him back per se, because I think one of the things that's helped our O-line is his mobility and his ability to extend the play and kind of stretch things out. So I feel like if we're going to start to get him in his head and start to get him thinking and say, okay, don't run this or don't do that. I mean, you can't handcuff the guy. You know what I mean? It's like, it scares me because this is an injury that happened before. When he got hit in the Giants game, it was to the ribs. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So in my mind, give him Kevlar, give him a flat jacket, give him a metal, whatever, protect those ribs. I mean, come on now. So, but at the same time, you can't go out there playing half-assed, because this is the NFL, man. It stands for not for long if you're going to go in there and not go full speed, and you can't play just worrying about what's the next hit. Where's the next hit going to come? Is he not going to make it? And that's hard with his play style. Yep. And with all the stuff that we're putting into him, as being, the next guy, the up and coming, the savior team, whatever. So I just think you can't do that. You cannot hold him back. You can tell him you got to know when to slide. You can tell him, pay attention, be smart with it. But you can't just say, let's sit him in the pocket and just have him throw all day and, only run if it's absolutely necessary. No, we got to keep what we're doing. The offense that we're running is working. But what do you think?
I agree with you 100%. And I mean, that's what's kind of going around, DC sports talk right now is, well, what do they need to do? Or, well, this is what we were worried about, is can he make it through the season? And it's like Nathan was saying, are you serious? Where like you're willing to sit him in this game? Yeah, because he needs to be who he is. If you said it perfectly, if he's not a threat in the read option, then they're just going to tee off on going after the running back. If he's going to be hesitant to pull it and run it. And this is what the offense is working. This element of surprise is what is making this offense hum right now. So if you love what Cliff Kingsbury's doing, then if you're pulled a major portion of it, now you're making it that much more challenging. So I do think that you have to keep it going. And, I think there's a point to what Nathan's saying here about like needing to learn how to slide. Or so, for example, Patrick Mahomes is really good at like, he will stop and take 5 or 10 less yards and just get out of bounds. If he's got the first down, he recognizes I moved the chains. All right, that's good enough. Jaden is not there right now because there's a lot of talk where he cut it inside when he could have cut it outside and avoided those two guys. I don't think this tackle is a result of his decision. I think it's just a play. And actually, if anything, I'm more scared of him getting sacked than I am him getting tackled in the open field.
Right.
So I understand what you're saying there, but I also think I feel like this is just an injury that happened. It's a fluke. It's a play that happens. But I get a whole lot more nervous when he gets crunched in the pocket to worry about his ankles and his legs and body weight landing on it. Then it was a weird tackle from two guys and he kind of flipped over, that type of stuff. So and ultimately, I would say, hey, if Jaden is able to just say, like, I'm just going to get 20 yards and go out of bounds, great. He also electrified everybody by taking the very first play from scrimmage on our offense and running it 50 yards downfield.
Yeah.
Like, that's his game. That is his game. Look at what he did in LSU, And so I don't know if you're going to be able to get that out of him, too. He wants to make plays. He was thinking the whole time, I'm getting 6. I'm getting 6 here. Mm-hmm. So I'm with you.
Yeah, and hey, I absolutely love it. Let's see. Johnny said you draft the talent you're looking to design a team around. All you can do is set up the protections, limit how much damage is possible, and keep beefing up his body until he's grown man size. Mm-hmm. Hey, and until you do that, then you put all that protection, whatever you can, over those sensitive areas. But shout out to Tisha Bowman hitting us up saying, hey, Commanders fans, super hyped for this weekend. So are we.
Yes.
And she agrees with Nate. But she said, I'm excited to not feel like all hope is lost, even if our starting quarterback is out or limited for a few weeks. So with that being said, let's go to the offense because we mentioned it, how we were very skeptical when they brought in Marcus Mariota.
Yes.
We have all thought he's past his prime. When he was in Atlanta, he didn't even finish the full season. I didn't at one point didn't know if he was still in the league. And then they bring him in. So then our thought immediately goes to, okay, well, now we know the type of quarterback they're looking for. But still, there was not any confidence when he came into the game. But then, and again, I always put out the disclaimer for all you haters. Yes, it was the Panthers, but you still got to play. And in the beginning of that game, the beginning when he first came in, the Panthers looked good against him. They were shutting him down. He wasn't, or maybe wasn't. They were looking good. He just wasn't doing what he had to do. Mm-hmm. He missed the guy that was wide open. He threw it to the back of the defender on another play that he had a guy that was behind the defense. And you really kind of question any of them. Kind of like, okay, you're bringing this guy in. Like, what are we doing? At the end of the day, he had over 200 yards. Even had 40 on the ground, and he continued to do what he needed to do. Are you more confident now that we have a Mariota, just in case we maybe do have to go another week or two without Jaden?
Yeah, I mean, he showed me a whole lot more that he was capable than I would have thought. I got told twice on Sunday. The first was watching Marcus Mariota. The second time was watching Russell Wilson Sunday night. And both of those guys just proved like, hey, let us knock the rust off a little bit, because, I was texting you all say, can we go trade for Sam Howell? Can we put Jeff Driscoll in? Can we figure something? Anybody but Marcus, and then he settled down and they kept the offense going the way it is. I think I will say this. I mean, I sit there and I feel like compared to Jaden, his ball floats through the air so long. I'm like, is it going to get there? So you can kind of really see the difference in arm strength and how they play. But he was very capable out there. I mean, 18 of 23 for 205 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 34 yards running. Whole lot better than he did when he was with the Falcons. I can say that, Exactly. So, let's give him some credit there. The fact that he didn't show any of this in Atlanta. Otherwise, he probably wouldn't be in Philly and then DC the last 2 years as a result of it.
Right.
He probably could have been in a situation where he could show himself out a little bit more. So, and the fact he kept the offense going, we talked about it a little bit earlier, but that's credit to our team for not having to change from one quarterback to the next. Not having, the receivers have to adjust to, the velocity of the ball. Zach Ertz got caught for false starts twice, getting used to his voice. So, you're going to have some adjustments, but you're able to run the same plays, the same offense, the same looks. Mm-hmm. That I think is a good thing. But I will say this. It feels really good, though, to know that I don't care to see our backup quarterback play.
Yeah, at all.
For so many years, Sean, when the backup has come in, I've always been like, well, let me see what this guy's got. And I mean, I can go way back to 1992 when Kerry Conklin came in. And it was like, oh, what about him? And then we had Gus Frerotte. And then do you remember a guy by the name of Trent Green?
Yeah.
Do you remember this third string quarterback they finally turned to? And look what the career he had.
Yep.
Patrick Ramsey coming in for an injured Mark Brunell in 2005, and the ball moved against the Giants. What about Todd Collins coming in against when Jason Campbell got hurt? And then recently we've had Kirk Cousins, Colt McCoy, and then Taylor Heineke, where the backup quarterback has always kind of provided a little bit of a spark where it's like, oh, let me watch this game. I can safely say that I don't care who our backup is.
Nope.
I want the starter out there in DC, and that's such a good feeling because we can finally say our starter is so much better than our backups. It's finally we've arrived. We've made it with the starting quarterback finally.
Right. It's one of those things where we want to. Oh Lord, Todd Collins. One of the things where we want to protect the starter, but if he goes out and you have to see the backup, you're just like, I'm not gonna lie. Going along with what we said earlier about how I was really not interested in seeing him, when he came in, my thought, and I know I telepathically said this to Cliff, was, I don't care what you do, just run the damn ball.
Yes.
As long as he can hand it off, I'm fine with that.
Yes.
I don't need to see him try to run around. And they ran a read option or something early, and Mariota kind of ran a little bit, and then got tackled. And I'm like, no, that is not what I tell him. Hand it off. And that one drive, that with the scoring drive, that is mainly what they did. Ryan Robinson got carries. McNichols got carries. And I told him even Mariota kind of came around the side and got it. Overall, over 200 yards, almost 40 carries overall between those guys. Mind you, you had those 50 yards on the big play that started off. But still, when you have problems at quarterback, which is what we've had over the years, you've got to rely on your run game. And that, for me, was great. We are the number 2 rushed offense in this league behind the Ravens. We have been running consistently when Brian Robinson's in there. And then you bring in McNichols. Even Eckler's getting a couple touches. That, to me, was what was comforting. Our defense was playing lights out, so I didn't worry about that. But the fact that we had our run game, that, to me, said, okay, if you want to give him a couple passes, that's fine. He's still a pro quarterback. But just run the ball. And that, as we were able to run and slowly, get down the field, score a touchdown, open this thing up a little bit, then you start getting to the point where you're like, okay, all right, we're going to be all right. We're going to be all right. Mm-hmm. But I'm excited to see that. I see Vandy Chris in here.
He's wanting he wants him back.
I'm so sorry that Titans did we just talked about that today. Anybody but the daggone Chiefs. I feel you, man. I feel you.
No, he wants his quarterback back.
Oh, yep, we're back. Of course, I've been begging. Yep.
Things are rough in Tennessee. They're very rough in Nashville right now.
We feel you, man. We feel you. You got your college team, so they're ranked. So let's get with that. But I mean, to that point though, we didn't make any moves. D Hop, that was somebody that we had discussed. Cooper Kupp is obviously out there. But at the same time, one of the reasons why we thought that we didn't make the move is because it doesn't matter who we have as wide receiver right now. Cliff is making sure everybody gets their touches. Everybody's getting fed out there. Terry is the bell cow, which is first time in his career. Bell cow.
Repeat that for me.
Terry.
What's happening with Terry?
The bell cow. He is the guy. And I love it. I love every minute of it. But you talk about Zach Ertz, Olamide Zaccheaus. Will, at the end of the day, the pass game wasn't that bad with Mariota. So I'm loving that.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like we don't know where the ball's going to go in this pass game. That's kind of the whole thing I keep stressing about. Like, yes, we need to improve the wide receivers. We could use a better wide receiver, but maybe that's a year 2 thing. Maybe that's a build, change the offense and things around that type of stuff, because they're spreading it around. Zach Ertz he got a touchdown finally. What about Ben Sinnett? First NFL catch, touchdown. He was spreading the ball around the way this offense goes. It's some of these guys, your guy Diami's getting 2 to 3 catches, a game right now. It may not be volume, but there's, like I keep saying, they make impact. Noah Brown catches first downs. Yeah. He moves the chains. Isn't that the thing that they talked about with Chris Carter? What does this guy do? Catch touchdowns. What does Noah Brown do? Catch first downs. And Terry, 6 catches for 98 yards. Hey, it could be better, but Mariota fed him the ball. That was his main guy. Like, that's exactly what you've been looking for. So you got to give him credit. And so much to what you talked about earlier. And I hope Nathan's still listening, because it certainly seems like, what is our bread and butter? What is our identity? Mm-hmm. It's running the ball. It's working through the run, controlling the clock, and mixing in those passes to whomever receiver is open, not knowing who it is. And it's working.
Oh, yeah. And to your point about Terry, tied for 11th in the league with 35 receptions, almost 500 yards thus far in the season, and 4 TDs. Look, we have been screaming year after year, this is your number 1 guy. Get him the damn ball. And I love that Cliff has made a point to get him the ball. They listen to him when Terry's like, we can do this. Run this play. Is going to work. This is the type of stuff that we need to see. We need to start developing these guys as, if you get open, you get out there, you run the route, you do your job, we'll get you the ball. We'll feed you. If you look at the one false start to Ertz, you see him just smacking his helmet, and one of the announcers was like, that when you see a player do that, he knew that play was coming to him and was going to go for that touchdown. And he was beating himself up about it. But everybody knows that they're going to get an opportunity. Everybody is like, hey, we could get this. And what I loved about it is, that's what didn't change with the offense. Mariota was in there. They continued to do the things that they can do, which is what we thought was going to happen when it came to, bringing him in and the same style of play. So that was great to see that. But he continued to feed people, continued to get the guys the ball, the run game. It felt good in this. And then on top of that, he only got sacked once.
Yeah.
Again, the Panthers are still a professional team out here. Okay, they were still getting pressure, but the fact that Mariota was not just a statue in the pocket,
yes,
that is something that it makes you feel. When he first came in, I was watching a game like this. By the end of the game, I'm sitting here like, shout out to you, buddy.
Yeah,
shout out to you. You did everything we asked of you to do. You didn't. No interceptions. You're not giving the ball to the other team. You are doing exactly what we need for you to do. Easy Betty Chris saying, fire Sale and Nastyville. Get your players ASAP before they're gone. I'm calling it now. Jeff Simmons to the Jacksonville Jaguars for a 2025 first and a 2026 third. Woo.
That's a pretty good haul for him.
Ooh. Traylon Burks, Calvin Ridley. You want him? Come get. Hey, trade deadline's coming up. We might need to make some moves. I don't want Will, though. You can have that mayonnaise.
Yeah.
But Will. We did. We played nearly a perfect game on offense. 26 first downs. We crushed them on that. Over 400 total yards. Won the time of possession. We were starting to understand what we need to do offensively to win. And those are those things. And we stayed clean. No turnovers. So if we have to go with Mariota going into this game against the Bears, can we confidently say that we have a chance? Like not a chance, but a serious chance to compete and win with Mariota and with the team we got.
I think he can keep the ship afloat. I think if we're able to run the ball, then sure. If we're not, and it relies on his arm, then I think that's when things can get a little dicey. So that will be kind of interesting to learn. I'm excited to hear from Nick in just a couple minutes about, learning about what is working for the Bears, because they've been doing well for my fantasy team, so far. So I do want to see kind of like, what part of their defense is clicking really well, which, talking about the run game. And when we get to the comparisons, they got some players that may stifle up that run game pretty well. So yes, can he keep us competitive in this game? I would think so. But surely there's a drop off between what he can do and what Jayden can do.
And we expect that. We expect that. And that's where it's going to be more on Cliff Kingsbury, more on the play calling, more on how are we scheming up in this ball game? Because we already know the Bears are going to be raring to go, especially our former defensive player.
Let's go into that a second. Why don't we segue to the defense? Because I got a little segment. I'm ready to already throw shots at Nick, even though he's in the background and can't defend himself. So our defense played phenomenal last week against the Panthers. And again, it is the Panthers, but you got to give them some credit. Yeah, I understand, Nick. I see what you do in the background there. But, who's the star of the game? Dante Fowler. Without a doubt, with a pick six with the sack, he has really come on these last couple weeks. And he said, "Hey guys, I was hurt, and it took me some time in the preseason, and then to heal. And now he's finally feeling a lot better. And you look at it. This is my little coming at you, Nick. Here we got Montez Sweat coming into town with his 2.5 sacks, and you know what we've done. We've replaced Montez Sweat's production. We have 7.5 sacks from our defensive ends that replaced him. Not doing too bad. Dante Fowler, Dorrance Armstrong. Jared, are you paying attention?
Come on.
Do I need to repeat myself? 7.5 sacks from our 2 defensive ends that both came from Dallas. So credit to Dan Quinn and getting the guys that will work with him. Also, the highlight to me on the defense as well was Forbes getting the pick of the season, not his first of his career, but getting the interception. I will say this. The ball was thrown right to him. The receiver did not run the right route, and Andy Dalton was furious. He was just like, you are not supposed to be where you are right now. But Forbes needed something. I'm not going to say that this week he needs to go lock up against DJ Moore, because we saw what happened last year when he played DJ Moore.
Yeah.
But if anything could help this guy's confidence, it was getting an interception. Yeah. So, good job to him. I hope this helps him continue his development, because Lord knows we need corners right now. So that was my highlights on defense with it.
Badly. But like you said, I mean, look, at one point this game was 37-0. Like the Panthers they looked atrocious. There was nothing they could do. And even on that play, you saw the receiver come in and Forbes just kind of stepped up and the receiver just kind of quit on the route. And then Forbes ran like he was running the route and got the interception. It's good to see that we're starting to have turnovers. We're starting to make turnovers and get takeaways on these teams. And create extra possessions for our offense. That's going to be absolutely imperative going down the season as we start playing a couple tougher teams down the line. And Nathan was talking about, can we talk about how embarrassing it was they threw Bryce in the game? Listen. There was a certain point, and I'm coming to you, Will. There's a certain point where I was kind of like, look, don't do this to Andy. I mean, they are sacrificing this man, and it was so bad. I started watching his defense because I already knew we were going to be playing. And almost 20 points for me on my fantasy, so I'm good with that. But when they brought in Bryce at the end after the game was over, and it was just kind of like, well, he's still under contract. You got to put him in there. I mean, he knew he wasn't going to make a difference. But that didn't show me anything either, because after that, we let them get down and score, I think, on Andy's last drive. So, we're kind of conceding you can do whatever you want to do because the game is over. And Bryce came in and didn't look any better. You know what I mean? So maybe that's the defense. Maybe it is just that Bryce is not at that level yet. But it's hard to see anything from that team because they are just so bad right now.
Yes.
They are. Now, what I will say, there was one bright spot from South Carolina, Mr. Xavier Legette. He had like a run or something. I think he had a jet sweep.
Did he? I saw he had like 2 catches. So Yeah, he didn't really show much. But, if you think about one of the keys I said was if you eliminate Chuba, you're going to make him throw it on you. And we did. We focused on the run. We shut that down, and we made the Red Rifle try and beat us. And with what receivers scare you out there?
Right.
I mean, I got my eye on that dude Sanders out of Texas, checking him out for fantasy if he's someone that's going to get the ball moving forward. But there's just no weapons in Carolina right now. So I don't care if it's Bryce Young or Andy Dalton. None of these quarterbacks have a chance.
No, they don't. I mean, we held the team to under 200 yards total. Andy and the quarterbacks, had under 100 yards passing. All the committee of running backs, which is Sanders, Miles Sanders, Chuba, Leggett with the one read option, and Dalton, even they had under 100 yards on the ground. I mean, they had only 10 first down. Like we deboed them. Like we divided them up. There was no chance in this game. And it was funny because in the group chat, Ab was kind of like, I'm mad. I was like, "Well, you mad?" He was like, "Man, we shouldn't let them score. Like we gave up a touchdown. We should have done that." And there was a point where you kind of are like, "Yeah, we've been playing so good in this game, man. Come on, man. Don't give up the touchdown. I wanted that goose egg. We ain't shut a team out in God knows how long."
Right.
So that is really nice. One of the things though I want to talk about. On offense, we've had I think 4 or 5 games with over 30 points, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some of those games, you go to the Arizona game, you go to the Cleveland game, you go to this one, we're not only winning offensively, but our defense is flying to the ball and shutting teams down.
They are.
I mean, these are yes, NFL teams, they might be struggling, but these guys aren't able to move the ball. Now, is that the players that we have that are coming alive, or is that the scheme? Is that what Dan Quinn and Joe Witt Jr. are doing back there?
Sure, it's probably a little bit of both. I mean, it's exactly what they said they wanted to do in their press conferences about, they're going to arrive violently, they're going to hustle the ball, they're going to be physical out there, which a lot of coaches say. And I think, you're seeing as the season's going along, the players are kind of buying in. They're tweaking things throughout the week from one game to the next and helping shore up communication. But I also think it is a testament to who the opponent is, because we didn't do it against Baltimore. Now, Baltimore's a pretty rare team, special team, very special, quarterback, situation. So, but it goes back to what we were talking about earlier in the show about like winning against bad teams. Is they're just annihilating the bad teams. They're putting no doubt out there. You guys are not going to beat us, and we are going to end this by the first half. And that's what I love. It's a killer instinct in them.
It is. And it gets to the point where it's like you almost like, all right, bring them on. Bring them on. And we know we have issues. We know our secondary is still suspect. But I love that Sammer Still's coming up. I love the play of the linebackers. And now, obviously, one of the big things that we were concerned with this week, how were we going to respond after losing Jonathan Allen? That D-line came alive, and those coaches put them in the right places so that they were able to dominate and play as well as they did. And it just makes you feel good going into the next week, going into Chicago and then the Giants and, down the line. So that is that, man. Hey, look, we can continue on about how great the defense played, but we will stop because we're not going to keep going with that because of the fact that, yes, it was the Panthers, but we want to let our defense play well this week. That's what we want to focus on. You hear that, Nick? This week. Let's go. Real quick, we're going to talk special teams. And, Will, for years, I have always said, our best player is our punter. Our punter is killing it. And for years, he was always getting more yards than whoever the quarterback was in the game. Will, one punt, Will, for 40 yards. Is it. I am loving every minute of it. This is great. You know what? This might be his worst year punting by the yards, and I am all for that.
Yeah.
As much as he's been here, let him take his rest, man.
Man, I hate to tell you this, but Tress Way, it's a good thing the Pro Bowl is not in Hawaii anymore, because he needs to be telling his wife and his family, hey, folks, we're not going to Hawaii this year.
Yep.
I'm not getting enough practice out here to be getting stats to make it to the Pro Bowl this year. No, and it's a good thing, So I mean that's certainly really nice. But the other part is we've been talking about this. They kick off to make the team return it. Yes. Now maybe this week against DeAndre Carter, who knows if that's a good idea or not. But guys like Nick Bellore, Jeremy Reeves, Jeremy McNichols, Derek Forrest, when he's been activated, they get after it on special teams. They take pride. I mean, Reeves leveled somebody on Sunday, and they just go nuts when that happens. It starts the defense off. It gets the players going, and so it's really fun to see that they bottom line, they give a shit about special teams.
Come on,
Yep,
absolutely, man, and I'm here for it. I am here for it. Then you flip it over to our kicker, Mr. Siebert. Perfect again. 4 for 4 field goals, 4 for 4 extra points. Like Ab said, he's doing his job. That's all we ask of him. But in years past, we could not rely on a guy that either was sly kicking it from 50 plus and couldn't hit anything under 50, or it was guys from before that just weren't consistent, like Dustin Hopkins and all that stuff. Seeing this and how well we've done, I think that is directly related to how well we're doing record-wise and team-wise. Being able to come away with something is huge. Now, obviously, in the big games, you don't want to trade touchdowns for field goals, but in that game against the Giants, where they clearly scored 3 TDs, field goals were what did it for us. So you got to shout the guy out. Hey, Christian Benedy, shout out to him from high school. Our high school kicker said, "Kicker is my MVP on special teams so far." Let's go, Christian.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Love it.
The thing about Seibert that's so interesting is if you look at the Jets, Greg Zuerlein's already missed 4 kicks this year. And if it wasn't for Greg Zuerlein kicking a 50-yarder on Christmas Eve against us last year to beat us, we might not have gotten the chance to draft JD5, pick number 2, because we doggone our quarterback, who's the Jacoby Brissett, came back and took the lead in a meaningless game. Greg Zuerlein was able to win it for us. We got the number 2 overall pick to get JD5. They cut Austin Siebert in this training camp that we see when we're up there at our practices, and we go, all right, we'll take him. We'll take this guy. It's just kind of crazy the how things get connected at times.
Oh, that's the way it plays out, man. That's the way it plays out. Nate said, okay, what's with Austin kicking extra points like that? What's wrong? How's he doing it?
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Nate, tell us how is he kicking it? Because if he's making it, I don't care if he hops up on one leg and does it. Get it done.
Right.
So I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah, Christian said, haha, thanks for shout out. Keep it up, man. Yo, joining us, Christian. Good seeing you. Good talking to you, buddy. Yo, so hey, look, we got to move on. You already know what it is. We got a game coming up. Before we do, we're going to take a quick breather. On the other side, we got to get in the host of Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable. My guy, Mr. Nicholas Rosario, will be right back. Yeah, buddy, that was my guy, Anton Benton, founder and creator of Awesome Artisans, awesome_artisans on Instagram. He's on Facebook. Definitely check him out. He lives in the Virginia Beach area, but he does inside work, outside work, whatever you need, and he will travel. He currently is working at plan to come up to Baltimore to actually work with one of the guys in our comments, Nathan Snell, on helping his family with put it in a closet, I believe, a walk-in closet.
Did you see his parents? His parents put him to work this week.
Oh, yeah.
He was up visiting home, and they're like, "Hey, we need a new walkway and a front entrance here. Like, let's fix this here."
He told me. He said his compensation was food. He said they were cooking for him. I was like, my man, I understand. That's your family. You know you gotta do that.
Yeah.
Yo. All right. Christian said Siebert's approach to follow through has been inconsistent on extra points. Hence the wonky kicks. That is answering Nate's previous question.
Yeah, and Nathan's right. Some of his kicks are coming off a little bit low.
Mm-hmm.
At times and not looking good. Well, hey, Christian, why don't you head on up to Ashburn and maybe they need an assistant kicking coach.
Hey, Christian, you already know you got the leg. Come on, man. Come on.
I didn't see any misses at Herndon. I can tell you that much.
Let's go. But look, you know what we're doing. We got our guy that's been waiting here in the background. We got to bring him on. I'm so glad he got to join us. He was able to get off work to do this. You know who it is. My guy, host of Let's Talk Football, the Roundtable, Nicholas. I want the smoke. Rosario. What up, Nick?
Well, good evening, gentlemen. How are we doing this fine Wednesday? How are we? Yeah, go ahead, flex your muscles. Go ahead. Let's do this, right? This is why I'm here. Go ahead and flex all you want. Go ahead. Because I'm gonna say this to, and Will, it's always a pleasure to see you. Sean, I whatever. But Will, always good to see you, my brother. Listen, boys, don't go, because and I want to be very clear about what I'm about to say. This game is going to come down to one matchup and one matchup alone, in my opinion.
Don't ruin your keys to victory now with this.
Well, no, but I'm just saying that this really is, because I was looking at stuff, because I like to do that from time to time to see what I'm dealing with. You guys on offense, again, I don't know if Jaden's going to play. He did not practice today, as you said earlier. But you guys, as far as total yards per game, you guys are number 4 in the league at 384 yards a game. Yep. And I'll tell you something. The reason that scares me this particular week is because I don't know if you've seen our injury list, but 4 of our DBs are on the injury list. We got Jaquan Brisker in a concussion protocol. He did not practice today. We got Kyler Gordon with a hamstring. He did not practice today. Terrell Smith has a hip injury, but he had a light practice. And Tariq Stevenson has a calf injury. He light practice today. So this is one of the things that gives me a little concern going into this week if these guys aren't there.
Yeah.
Because as you know, the strength of our defense right now is our secondary.
Okay.
That's been our bread and butter so far up to this point in the 6 games that we've had. Our secondary, because overall, again, our defense has been playing well, and a big reason for that is the secondary. In terms of, that's why I say, we'll get into the keys to victory, but that's just one of those things I wanted to point out, because, again, your guys' offense, as much as, again, everybody likes to criticize, the victories, like you said, we all know who you guys have played. Your victories are the Giants, Bengals, Cardinals, Browns, and Panthers, and ours are the Titans, Rams, Panthers, and Jaguars. So, yes, none of those teams are probably going to make the playoffs or light up the league any. Hey, it doesn't matter, right? A win is a win. Am I wrong? I don't think I am. So the fact that you guys are sitting there at 5-2 and we're sitting here at 4-2 after our bye week, this is an important game for both teams, because I think it's actually, as Will pointed out, it could have playoff possible, wild card implications towards the end of the season.
It could have what?
Possible wild card.
Playoffs? Don't talk about it. Playoffs? You kidding me? Playoffs? I just hope we can win a game.
Me too, Coach. But again, like I said, if the playoff, you guys always see those, right? Every week now they do. If the playoffs were today,
yes.
And right now we're the 7th seed if the playoffs were today. So there you go. Bears in the playoffs. But anyways, yeah, this is to me, this is an important game for both teams for a lot of reasons. Not just even the playoff implication, but the fact is it's a quality win for whoever wins. Because again, regardless of how you look at it, criticize our victories, fine. But the fact is we're 4-2, you guys are 5-2. So, this is an important game for both teams to show, again, your losses were to really good teams. You lost to the Bucs and the Ravens. That's nothing to sneeze at this season. I know the Bucs had a bad week, but they also lost 2 of their receivers. So we'll see what they do going forward. But I mean, losing to the Ravens is no shame, my friend. That team is phenomenal. They're at the number one. They're number one in like offense and defense practically. So I mean, I don't think anybody's going to criticize a loss to Baltimore, especially by only a touchdown. So that's why I said this game to me is important for that reason alone. It's a quality win for both programs, whoever wins this game. And I just think, I'm very, with the secondary being injured and kind of like, and I get it. I know Mariota may start. And Sean, you'll remember this. I don't know, Will, maybe. I was actually a Mariota fan. We have talked about Marcus in the past. Yep. And I've always just thought, man, if he got another chance to show something, maybe he'd do something. Now, I hope he doesn't do it this week, I guess, because, if he gets in there, then we're going to have to just destroy him. That's fine. But I'm just saying, overall, I like Marcus. I liked him coming out of Oregon, like, whatever. Marcus, I hope you're all right, buddy. But, yeah, so, I mean, to me, that's going to be one of the things that I'm definitely going to look for this weekend is your number 4 offense against our number 5 defense. So that's, to me, is going to be one of those things that really, it goes from there.
Well, I love that you shared that about your defense because I can tell you this. I can see a roster, but I don't know how you're winning. I don't have the ability right now to pay attention to how everyone's doing in the league and how are you guys 4-2. So I'm a little surprised to hear that you're saying the strength right now has been the DBs. And so that I love that you said that. Talk to me about Eberflus now, because all of a sudden, like towards the end of last season, he basically just said, F it. We're doing this my way. And he flipped the defense around. They started making changes. You guys brought in Montez Sweat with the trade to help that. That sort of changed the entire team, maybe kept him his job, and now you're 4-2. So how's he doing as head coach? How's your offensive coordinator? How is everything going?
Well, okay, so I'll take as far as the question, Alex, I'll take the last part first and the second part anyways. I'll go at it this way, Will. When Matt took over just the defensive call, as the head coach, obviously you're in charge of everything, but he took over the defense. And yes, Matt is a good defensive mind. And I think he's come up, he's used everybody effectively, in my opinion. Everybody is getting, and again, I heard you mention about the 2.5 sacks for Montez Sweat. Yes, Montez, but how disruptive is that guy is my point. I get it. He only has a couple sacks, but you have to double team him. Sometimes you have to triple team him. You have to do whatever you can to make sure that Sweat doesn't get you. And that's why what I like most is, and we have to get a little bit better at this, but as I told Sean, I think we were talking before about this, we got 2 young guys in the middle who are literally like fire hydrants. We got Javon Dexter out of Florida and my guy Alexander Billings, who we picked up a couple years ago. Those guys are literally like, just go ahead and try and run over us because we're just going to flatten you. They have been bright spots for this line this year on defense. They really have. And Austin Booker is getting opportunities to play on the other side of Montez Sweat. He's not playing bad. He's a rook. But at least he's getting reps. He's getting in there. Again, the defense is not playing bad. And I'm going to say this, and this may not be everybody's favorite take about what I'm about to say, but I honestly think our linebacking core is pretty damn good as the 3 guys we have in Edmonds, Edwards, and Jack Sanborn.
Yes.
Like they're playing pretty well this year. Yes. And as far as the NFC goes, as far as total linebacking cores, I got to put them up there at the top.
Yes.
Again, look at the facts and you tell me if I'm wrong. So again, we have the number 5 ranked defense for a reason. And again, a big part of it is our secondary because these guys, it's reminiscent of the one we had in 2007 with Peanut Tillman and Mike Brown. Like, they go after the ball. We've had a takeover in every game this year. I think for the last 7 or 8, we've had a takeaway on defense because these guys are punching the ball. They're going after the ball. They're tackling. They're ferocious. They hit the backs hit hard. We got Kevin Byard back there to provide a little experience for us. Like, that's why I say, like, the secondary has been our strength, but our defense, the line and the linebackers, they've been playing well. Yeah. And again, everybody will say 4-2, but look who you beat, fine. That's why coming into this week, I feel like is a really landmark game for us. And again, you guys have been our, the thorn on our side the last few years, right? You guys beat us 12-7 on a Thursday night 2 years ago. Yeah. And it really
what happened last year?
What happened last year?
I know what happened last year. I was smiling for about 10 days, but my point is, And so I'm just saying, though, that's my point, though, is that we've played you guys now, which doesn't always happen. We've played you 2 years in a row now. And now here's number. So this is like the rubber match. Here's number 3. And we're gonna see which team, comes out ahead this week. But yeah, I'm so looking forward to this game. And of course, even more so because you guys are Washington fans. So it joys my heart to come on here and talk with you boys about this game. Because I got some more for you, but again, it's your show. Not trying to take over. So
you already do. You always do. We know how you
always do. Sean, I'm gonna let you
get
the next question, but no, Nathan, exactly. I'm Nick. Sorry, I wanted to hear about this defense because I look at your linebackers and T.J. Edwards and Tremaine Edmonds. If Ron Rivera was the coach, he would be ecstatic because he only wants to play 2 linebackers. But if you're only going to play 2 linebackers, put those 2 out there, and you are just fine. So that's what I thought was your strength. And I was really surprised. I don't know who this Javon Dexter is, and to find out he's leading your team in sacks, and I was like, who's this 2nd-round pick out of Florida State? I don't remember this guy from the draft at all, but he's certainly putting up the stats for you guys. Yeah. But Sean, I'll let you come in with your question.
Oh yeah. Shout out to Ab, who was saying behind our linebacker core though, because our linebackers are pretty damn nasty. If I don't say so myself. But listen, Nick,
that's fine.
Yeah, I 100% totally agree with just the fact that this, for both of us, is not something that we've been dealing with the last couple of years. That's why I played that playoff clip at the beginning, because both of us, it was almost blasphemy to say playoffs with how our team's been playing. You mentioned your defense, but we already know why they flex it to the 4 o'clock game, why all the people have their eyes on it. For the potential to see Caleb Williams, the number 1 overall pick, against the number 2 overall pick, Jaden Daniels. But talk to me about Caleb and that offense. We know about the weapons at wide receiver. We know about Swift and the run game and everything. You told me about how there's some issues on that line. But from where it started in the beginning of the year, where people were sitting here and having the audacity to say, oh, is he a bust? Or what's going on with him? And to have it where he has been slowly getting better and sticking with it and getting to the place where now he is becoming that threat that everybody thought he was going to be and knew he was going to be coming in. Talk to us about how that offense is coming alive. And real quick, leave Keenan Allen out of this, because that bum, after I took him out of my fantasy, I don't want to hear his name. All right?
All right, fine. I'll leave K.A. out of it. No, but but I'm not going to lie to you. The offense was frustrating in the beginning too, because it seemed like, and Shane Waldron, we got the new coordinator on offense, Shane Waldron. And again, I like to give people the benefit of the doubt for the most part, because I'm like, all right, let's see what he's got. But it was very frustrating to watch early on, because it seemed like a lot of the stuff we did last year. These screens to the one side, it's like, no. What are you doing? Why aren't you establishing a run game with the 3 backs that we have there? Like, that's what you need to be doing there, Shane O'Mac, whatever your name is. But I'm just saying, like, what are you doing? Like, why are we not running the ball more? And I get it. Swift got off to a slow start. Fine. But then to find out, because I want to mention this specifically, because I want to ask you guys how weird this is. There was a report that came out here in Chicago that, a lot of teams do this first 15, where no matter what, these are the first 15 plays they're going to run in a game, right? Well, apparently we didn't have that. We didn't have our first 15 plays charted for every game like most teams do. And I went, well, why, Shane Waldron? Why would you not? Like, do you understand what you have here? You have the potential here to have a high-powered offense, my friend. I get it. We're still trying to figure out the line. We've had a few injuries. Guys have shuffled in and out. But the fact is, the line has played better. And Caleb has had times. As a matter of fact, especially, again, our last game against Jacksonville before the bye, I had to get up early to watch that. It was an 8:30 game from London. So I had to get up early to watch that bad boy. But I did. You could see him going through his progressions literally on screen. You saw his eyes. He's looking this way. He looks that way. Sometimes he took the check down. Sometimes he went for it. But that's what you want to see. You want to see that the quarterback is doing what he's supposed to be doing, especially as a rookie. Every week he's gotten better statistically. So that has helped as well. That's, again, why I say I know that your guys' defense has some good parts to it. But here's a stat I'm going to throw at you guys that is really well known, because this is where I think we have a definite advantage. Your red zone offense, for lack of a better term, is absolutely atrocious. You guys have a touchdown rate of 71% in the red zone. That is where I smile and go, okay, if we can get inside the 20 on you guys, we can run the ball, right? We can throw Roshan in there, who's the power guy. You can throw Khalil out of the backfield on a pass. You can get, and that's the thing we think with Swift. Swift is not really the power guy. He's the finesse guy. He's not Mr., up and down, north and south. He's east-west, kind of get him out, give him a pass, whatever, get him a sweep, whatever. That's his game. The power guy is Roshan. So to me, that's the guy. If we're on the 5, you're giving the ball to Roshan Johnson, we're going to run it right down your guys' throats, hopefully. Like, that's my hope anyways. But, yeah, that was astonishing me to find out, though, because given that you are 5-2, but yet your red zone defense gives 71% touchdown rate like that, that's a source for concern, but also a source for me to get a little happy about.
It's because we've gotten torched when we've actually played 2 good teams. We've been
I get that. I get that, but that's what I'm saying. But see, on the flip side of that, again, when you look at our offense, and this is what I said, your defense in terms of ranking is 16th overall, okay? But our offense as a total is number 24 because we've only averaged 301 yards a game on offense. Our defense, as I've said, is our strength. They've kept us in every game we've had. Even the Houston loss and the Colts loss, which those both should have been victories, in my personal opinion. Not that I'm saying we should be 6-0, whatever. We're 4-2. That is what it is. But I'm just saying, like, our defense really keeps us in every game. We are in every game because of our defense. The offense has gotten better, and again, I'm hoping that we can exploit the weaknesses in your defense this week. Because again, your offense has the potential. Especially with 4 of our guys in the secondary possibly out, you guys could torch us. I'm not going to deny that. Scary Terry, I have on one of my fantasy teams too. That guy's phenomenal. I love the points I get every week from McLaren. It's fantastic. And that's all I'm saying is that you guys have the potential, if we're not careful, we can come into this game going, our defense will kill them. No, that's not necessarily true. So I am going to be watching this game very intently, very carefully, and probably swearing at the television at some point or texting Sean something, or both of you guys in our little group chat we have. That, because, again, my biggest thing – yeah, exactly, something like that. But, I mean, my biggest thing, though, is that our defense definitely has to come up big this weekend because your guys' offense is legit. I don't care that you've played the Giants, Cardinals, Browns. I don't care about that. Like, the offense itself is legit, and we have to contend with that. And, again – Like right, Sean? We always say next man up. So hey, if 4 guys are out, then 4 guys are out. The next guy's gonna have to step up and play. It's just the way it is. I'm not gonna cry if because we got 4 guys. No, it's the NFL. You have to play. Next man up. Let's go. Like a win's a win. Like I said, it doesn't matter
after we beat you.
Whatever. All right.
All right. I got a question for you, Nick.
Go ahead, Will.
Enough
for Sean right now. Go ahead. Thank you, sir.
Who is your favorite pick of the draft?
Of this year's draft?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the obvious answer would be like, what would you say, Caleb? Okay. I mean, yes. When you have the number 1 pick, we knew where we were going with that, so that's why I'm kind of not answering that way because I don't know that it was my favorite pick. I'm going to say for the potential.
No, it wasn't because you didn't want to draft him. We
I know.
So you can't name him.
No, but that's what I'm saying. Like, I probably wouldn't anyways. Like I said, it's not, we knew where we were going. As soon as, that happened, you knew what was happening. You knew we were going to get rid of Justin. You knew Caleb was coming here. I don't think that was a surprise to anyone. That's fine. Again, I've accepted it. I've moved on. Here we go. I think because of future potential and really just because even though I would have preferred, I think in some way to get another offensive lineman, I think Roma Dunze at 8 is going to be a steal. I think it absolutely, that kid, I've seen the hands. I've seen the speed. He can run routes. I like the kid a lot. Again, I would like to see him incorporated more into the offense. I mean, he's had decent games, but at the same token, when you have the man who shall remain nameless coming back now, and you have DJ Moore on the other side, and you still have Tyler Scott, who is getting some reps in there. Cole Kmet has had a great year so far because he's a great – like, and that's my thing. Cole has absolutely, and I'm so happy that this happened. You gave him the big contract. Everybody's like, why are you giving Cole Kmet money? No. I like this kid from day one. And I'm telling you, now that he's getting the opportunity to show you what he can do, come on. He even won Special Teams Player of the Week last week because he had to be the long snapper after our long snapper got hurt. He catches 2 touchdowns, and then he's the long snapper, so he wins Special Teams Player of the Week. Like, that's phenomenal. How many tight ends can say that, brother? Like, I'm just saying. So I'm happy, like I said, and that's what kills me about this whole thing with our offense. Our offense is primed to actually be a top offense. We just have to put it together, man. We just literally, I mean, like I said, name everyone, right? You got Caleb at quarterback, Swift, Roshan Johnson, Khalil Herbert, DJ Moore, Keenan Allen, Roma Dunze, Tyler Scott. I mean, my goodness.
DeAndre Carter.
Well,
don't forget.
Yeah, no, I will not forget DeAndre, but I'm just saying, again, yeah, I know, you got it, exactly. But I'm just saying, though, that's my point. Yeah. Like, our offense should be lighting people up weekly. And so we're only, like I said, we're only averaging 301 yards a game. So, again, we're not killing people. But, again, the progression of Caleb has gotten better every week. Yeah. And so I just hope that this week that continues as well. Let me see, again, I think I looked it up earlier, so I apologize if I'm off a little bit. But he's like 9-5, 9 touchdowns, 5 interceptions. So, again, as a ratio, it's not very good. His completion percentage is only like 68%. So, there's struggles there. I mean, again, he's missed some wide open guys. He's thrown some really you're just like, where was that ball going? But again, he is a rookie. I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's been the starter since day one. There was no question about that. Yeah. But your boy Jaden was the same thing. Like, you knew he was the guy. You let him out there. And again, he's played phenomenal. I mean, again, I don't get to watch every Washington game, obviously, but I've seen the highlights. I've seen what the kid can do. You got to be impressed with him. Sure. Again, you guys are 5-2. Hey, you don't make the schedule, right? You play who you play, and you go for the win.
Oh, you sound like Alex. Shush.
Yeah,
I don't hear that.
But I mean, you know what? It's true, though, because somebody was telling me the other week, he's like, oh, well, this guy's hurt. So? Everybody gets hurt in the NFL. Like, I mean, again, I know I don't like
look at the Bucs. You can't sit here and be like, we beat the Bucs. They're no good. They don't have Mike Evans and Chris Godwin.
Well, no, I'm saying, that's my point too. Like, going forward, the Bucs could have a very serious problem on their hands because, again, that's another story for another time. But yeah, when you lose your 2 top receivers, what else do you do?
Right.
Like, there's not much you can do with that, and now Baker has to adjust to throwing to K. Dotton 40 times a game. But the point is, I just think, like I said, our offense is primed to actually really explode at some point, and I'm just hoping it's this week. That's all.
Yeah,
I'll put it like that. I'll put it succinctly. That's all I want.
But talk real quick before we go into keys. I mean, outside of this game, your division, you mentioned this a couple weeks back about the NFC North. Is it the best division in football? I think you guys have made a resounding statement saying yes, we are. No team is under everybody. You guys are the worst with 4-2, right? It's 5-1, 5-1, 5-2, and then 4-2, right?
I mean, yes, because we're the only one with a bye week so far. So yes, everybody else. But yeah, I mean, it's
so
hard.
It's hard to
look at
this. Is there a chance that I know you're not going to overlook us, but you cannot afford to lose these games, especially seeing the Detroit Minnesota game last week.
Yeah.
What is your mindset when going into that? Because you guys are definitely a good team, but it's just like it didn't switch up like in the NFC East where it's like Dallas is now falling down and Washington's moving up. Everybody else moved up, and you are still trying.
We're trying to stay with everyone. Exactly. Well, that's the thing. We have. I look at it this way. I feel like we have to win the next 2 weeks. We have you guys and the Cardinals. Now, I'm not overlooking you. I'm just saying we have you and the Cardinals in the next 2 weeks. We need both of those games. Yeah. We need to go into that really tough part of our schedule 6-2, because again, I read it today. Our schedule for the second half is the toughest in the NFL this year. We play all of our division rivals twice. We get the 49ers, Seahawks. Like, good Lord, are you serious?
Those suck.
But yeah, okay, sure they do.
They do.
Do I have to remind you that Geno Smith is the number 1 quarterback in the NFL right now? Do I have to remind you of that?
I'll give you Seattle.
He goes, you would have to. He said you would have to.
But San Fran, I know Debo. I know.
I know.
At the hospital, and then Ayuk got the towards Achilles.
But they're still San Francisco, and we're playing them there. So
And
I
they'll
mean,
see
again, but by that time Matt could be back. That's all the way towards the
Could
end of
be.
the year. So that's
Yeah.
all I'm saying is I'm just saying. But our
Valid.
second half schedule is top loaded, bro. Like it really is. And it's the thing is, we knew that. I mean, it's like you could see the schedule and go, damn, that second half is really tough. The games we have in the first half, the ones that we should win, we need to win.
Right.
And kind of so far, we have. A lot of people thought we'd lose to the Texans. Okay, we did. That was week 2.
But you kept
The
that
Colts
close.
game, we did. It was 19-13 in the final. Again, defense kept us in it. Should have won that game. Same with the Colts. We lost 21-16. Defense kept us in that game. Should have won that game.
Mm-hmm.
But again, these next two games are extremely important for us, I feel, because of what we have coming up in the second half of our schedule. So, yeah, absolutely. Going into those games 6-2 would make me feel a lot better than going 5-3 or, 4-4 even, or 4-4. So, I mean, yes, these two games are extremely important. Washington first, of course. Again, we need a victory this weekend. But, yeah, I mean, you just, and as a Bears fan, of course, you know what we've suffered through for the last how many years, right? The number one picks, the number one quarterbacks, nothing's worked out, yada, yada, yada. Mitch is a backup. Justin is getting benched now because Russell Wilson had a great game last game. So, our last two quarterbacks ain't doing too well now, are they? Right. So Caleb is the next man up in that sense. We got a number one quarterback. And I hope that this third time is the charm and things go much differently than they did with the other two.
Right.
So, yeah, like this is something Bears fans have something to cheer for. We're a little bit excited. But at the same time, you have to go, okay, let's be realistic here, guys. We got a tough game this week. Again, whether it's Mariota, Daniels, whoever. The fact of the matter is, it's a game we have to win.
Right.
And it's a game that we have to come into with the focus of how do we stop your guys' offense. That's going to be the biggest thing for us.
Well, I think Sean and I both know what it's like to start off, 4-2 or 5-2 and have a tough second half of the schedule. Jim Zorn's first year in 2008, we were 5-2 and ended the season 7-9. 5-2 to 7-9, and then it just imploded there. So I totally understand the need for winning. Should we hit up some keys?
Well, at least you weren't Minnesota who started 5-0 and missed the playoffs, right?
Right. I forgot my keys, Sean.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, you know what we do when we predict this. We got to give our keys to victory. The only one. That's right. I'm driving the car this week. That works for me. Let's go. Let's go. Yo, ladies and gentlemen, for those of you who don't know, when we give our keys to victory, each of us goes around and gives one key, and then we go around again and give another key to why we think or what we think our team will have to do to get the win. Nick, I'll start with you first. What is your first key to victory?
Stopping the run game. Stop the run game. I think it's important only because, again, if we're going to have half our secondary not play in this game, we might have some trouble. But so if we can stop the run, and again, you guys, whatever your offensive coordinator cooks up for this week against this defense that we have, stopping the run is going to be important. Like I said, we have a couple of stopgaps in the middle. Guys are playing well, and our linebacking core is very good. But as you know, if you can stop the run game, then desperation sets in and you start to pass. And I think the more, if it's Mariota especially, if Marcus has to throw more, I believe that's to our advantage, personally. And maybe a lot of people think that too, but I'm just saying, if we have to have, if we can get Marcus to start throwing the ball out of necessity, I think that plays strongly into our hand. So I think that's one key to victory for us is that stopping the run game, especially if it's Marcus, making him pass.
Yes.
That's one key.
I can dig it. Will, what you got, man?
I have the same thing that, we have learned in our victories that when we run the ball, when we are getting a chance to run it effectively and we get over 200 yards rushing in games, like we're not just doing a little bit, we do a lot, that the offense hums as a result of it. And I think of it from a standpoint of not just on offense, but the fact that if we are running the ball, if we are able to play some ball control, which we do like to do, you're keeping them off the field. You're keeping their weapons off the field where their strength is against our weakness. So I'm totally with Nick, where a key to victory is going to be, can Washington run the ball regardless of who the quarterback is? But can they, can the running backs be effective?
Yeah, I love that. And actually, my first key to victory is actually exploiting what you were talking about, Nick. Nick, you talked about your 4, defensive backs are out, Mariota or JD5, whoever's in there. We have been getting the ball out to 4, 5, 6 wide receivers, and Terry's been coming alive. We need to continue that this week, and we need to go after, just like when a corner goes out and he goes injured, and they go right after them right away. We need to, early on, take a deep shot. Get that secondary thinking. Okay, are they going to test us? Are they going to test us? And I think that could definitely help open up the run. Whereas, and normally what we do is we run to open up the pass. I think if we light it up, open it up, that might take some of your linebackers and push them back a little bit. So then that'll open up some of those holes in the middle for us. So what is your second key to victory, Nick?
Offense. We have to score. Again, we averaged as an offense. I got it here somewhere. Hold in. Like I said, we did 301 yards, and I think we're averaging in terms of points like 17 or 18, whatever it is, somewhere 17, 18, 19, whatever it is. So, I mean, we have to get better at that. Like you guys are allowing as a defense 22 points a game as an average. So we need to exceed that. I feel like we need to score at least, to me, we got to put up more than 24 on you guys. I feel like we got to get 27, 30, whatever it is. We got to put up more than 20 points on you guys, I think, to win this game. And I think we really need the offense to just, have it kind of, maybe have a Panthers game, or a Jaguars game in a sense of just getting everybody involved. Komet had 2 touchdowns. The man who shall remain nameless had 2 touchdowns, but everybody got touches. A lot of people got touches in that game. Everybody got passes. Everybody got, DeAndre got his. Roshan had a little bit. Even Khalil got in the game, and had a few. So that's what we have to do is we have to use the weapons we have, man. We have to get everybody the ball. We have to get, we have to get our playmakers one-on-one out there with you guys, because I think that's the thing too. Talking about, you've got DJ Moore on one side and what looks to be a resurgent Keelan Allen on the other, coming back from the injury. If we can get those guys one-on-one going down the field, man, I think that helps. That just helps that just puts us over the top. I think that's the icing on the cake if we can get that going, honestly. And I want to see that. I want to see us take first down chances like that. Throw the ball 40 yards on first down. Get a guy going deep. Take shots at it. Test you guys. Let's push the offense, man. None of this BS screen to the right side where the receiver has to block and then he gets knocked out by one of the backs or something and the guy, plays for a loss or whatever. I don't want to see 3 straight runs in the red zone up the middle and then a damn option play on 4th down. I'm telling you, I almost broke my television watching that. But that's my point. I want us to push the offense. I want us to test you guys. Let's get out there. Let's throw on first down. Let's take a shot at the end zone if we're at the 30. None of this the dink and dunk stuff is great, but we need to open up this offense. Yeah. We need to be able to just put the pressure on you guys and just come full throttle at you. We need to do that. I just think that where it helps Caleb, I think, to open it up to, that's what he wants to do. He wants to throw the ball. Justin Fields would take off and run because that's what he did. Caleb wants to throw the ball. He'll run, but he'd rather throw. And we've seen that. That's one of his rookie things. He's looking to make a play. He's thrown into triple coverage. He's thrown some balls. You're like, what are you doing? Stop. You could have ran. Stop trying to make the play when it's not there. But again, that's a rookie thing. He'll get better at that. But yeah, I want us to push the offense and go. That's my big thing.
Yeah. Will, what you got, man?
I'm going right along with Nick here. It's Joe Witt Jr. And what scheme does he come up with to fix what happened last year? I mean, DJ Moore, Roma Dunze, Keenan Allen, Cole Kmet, DeAndre Swift, Roshan Johnson. Those are weapons, okay? Our secondary. Well, first off, there's a reason why I didn't draft any single of these guys on fantasy. For once, I knew I'm like, that's too. I always say there's only one ball, and there's too much talent to go around. So you don't know where the ball's going to go to. So from fantasy wise, I'm like, I don't want any Bears. As much as at first I was like, DJ Moore's going to do so well. They viewed so much talent. But that you take that with Benjamin St. Juste, Emmanuel Forbes, Mike Sanders still, love the guy. Our secondary, I think that's a huge edge for the Bears. So how are we going to prevent what happened last year, which was passing all over us? DJ Moore had a career game in his return back to DC. And I don't know, but that's going to be my key is can Joe Wood Jr. figure out a way to slow that down with our personnel?
Oh, yeah. I like that. And for me, mine is kind of piggybacking off of that, but it goes to what Nick, kind of what you were saying about how, sometimes Caleb does like to try to make the play and try to throw it up there. And that's what I think happened in that Colts game. And they had a couple ill-timed interceptions that definitely made the difference.
Yep.
We got to get takeaways. I mean, we got a couple turnovers a week ago. That was beneficial, but we have got to really get some takeaways from you guys. Interceptions, fumbles, and steal possessions, especially if we're going to be riding with Mariota. And regardless of who we're riding with, we still have to steal possessions from you. Each of the games that we won, and especially the ones we dominated in the time of possession. We dominated keeping your offense, the other team's offense, off the field. That's what we've got to do. We've got to steal possessions, shut your offense down by getting those turnovers and giving our offense more opportunities. We already know, in my opinion, this is for however good our defenses are playing. I think this is going to be more of a high-scoring game. So it's going to be who has those last couple possessions and who could steal a possession or two from the other side. So, yeah, definitely want us to win the turnover battle, and hopefully, we stay clean and we get a couple off for you guys. But look, with that being said, let's go ahead and go into it. We got score predictions. We've talked about this. Nick, you and I have talked about this for years. Last year when I sat there and I called this out and I said, yo, this is going to be a high-scoring game, you were kind of like, I don't know. But with all the pieces and everything that you guys have done, with everything we've said with our offense and how things are going, what is your score prediction for this game, man, for the rubber match?
Bears 30-20.
Ooh, okay. I can dig it.
I told you, I think we have to put 30 on you guys, at least 24, 27. But I think we can grab 30 out of this game if the offense really plays the way that it's capable of. So I'm going to go with a final of, again, I know I'm picking the Bears. I don't think that's a surprise to anyone. I just think, again, a lot of time for the quarterback, for the quarterback question, if Jade, and again, I know that's going to be disappointing because they flexed this game to 3:25 on a Sunday afternoon to make it the game of the week. And it's, and I was looking forward to 1 versus 2 as well. So if Jaden doesn't play, some people may be disappointed, but at the same time, hey, the show must go on. So again, he didn't practice today. So obviously we'll all keep an eye on how that goes the next few days. But I think we got to put a 30 piece on you guys. So I'm going to say Bears 30, Washington 20.
I can dig it. Will, what you think?
I like it. I want to hear from Tina and Ab with their scores as well. They're chiming in on the comments. So I don't know why when we do our score predictions, I go so conservative. When I go the complete opposite when I get into the ballot box. But I don't think that Jaden Daniels is going to play. And so I'm going Chicago 26, Washington 20.
Okay. I can dig it. Before the season, when it was Jaden and it was Caleb, for sure, I told you this, Nick. I said 45-42, Chicago. I thought you guys, I thought it was going to be. And then now that I've seen the season and how we've played, if we don't have Jaden, I could see you guys getting the win 31-27. If we do have him, I could see us winning 34-31. I agree that you guys are going to get about 31 points. But I think Jaden will be the X factor on the extra points that we'll get. If he's not in there, I think we got to settle for field goals. And Austin Siebert's going to have an amazing game again.
You have the number 1 kicker in the NFL as well. So, yes, if it comes down to – I like Cairo. I like our kicker. I like Cairo Santos. But you guys have the number 1 kicker in the NFL right now. That guy is just money.
He is.
He's like automatic. Like, it's just crazy. You know what I mean?
It's crazy because no one expects it.
Who's this Siebert guy? Well, now you know. If you don't know, now you know.
Now you know.
Because this kid is on. Oh, look, Nathan's
okay, we got another one. Nathan going 34-28 Bears. Makes sense. We're going Ab with 27-13 with or without JD5.
But again, Ab, I would expect nothing less, my friend. I hope you're doing well.
And Tina's saying if Jaden doesn't play, Bears are going to pull out a squeaker.
Okay. And again, that very well could be the case. Exactly. Like I said, I have a lot of things I'm looking for this weekend, and I just hope that I come out on the right side of that when it's all said and done. Because we need this victory. We desperately need this victory. I think
you'll definitely hear it from us if you don't come on the right side. And
if we lose with Marcus Mariota, Sean could be like, whatever, it wasn't our full squad.
We'll see that. And that's the other thing I want to address quickly before I make my exit. Before I exit stage left. But my point is, that was the one thing I'm going to hate about this game if Marcus plays. Because people will then say, they will, whether you guys do or not, that's fine. I know it's your team, I get it. But the fact that people will go, well, you beat Marcus, you didn't beat Jaden. Yes, I know.
Facts are facts, brother.
No, yeah, I know facts are facts. But the point is, when we look at the end of the season, and if that's the one game that decides that difference, I'm not going to care that we beat Mariota as long as we won. So, yes, you're right. There's going to be that talk. And like you said, it's not looking good for Jaden to play this week. I get that. Mark, I mean, I'm sure we're preparing for both, but I got to imagine we're preparing more for Mariota at this point than we are for Jaden. But the fact remains, at this point, the Bears just need to pull out this victory.
Yes.
Like I said, our second half is really tough. And again, as you said, our division right now has to be looked at as the best of us. But I mean, again, did you watch that Detroit and Minnesota game last week?
No.
Was that not probably the – well, I'm saying, like, well, yeah. Was that – but, I mean, is that not really the leading candidate right now for Game of the Year?
Probably.
Like, honestly? I mean, that game was phenomenal. I mean, it just was. And I'm like, this is what – so, again, we're going to get tested plenty. The Bears are going to get tested. Trust me. Our second half schedule is a test in itself. So, games that are winnable, we need to win.
Yes.
And this weekend is definitely a winnable game. Not again, but it's one I think we desperately need because we need to get momentum going forward. So I look forward to this weekend, gentlemen. Again, I love you both, but we're sworn enemies until after Sunday ends. So until that day, you both can suck it.
Funny guy.
Hey, you remember the one time the Bobby Boucher came back and won the Bourbon Bowl?
That's what you were wearing. I'm like, that was
yes, I have my water boy jersey on today. So
water boy.
Love it. Thank you so much, Nick. We appreciate you.
Hey, thank you guys for having me on. Seriously, love you guys. Great show. I'm always happy to come on, chop it up with you guys. This is always good. Oh, Nate Snell comes back with damn, Nick. Nate, I miss you too, buddy. I hope you're doing well. We'll have to talk soon.
Yeah.
Yo, big time. Always good seeing you, my guy. Appreciate you. Appreciate you. Let me come help you out and host the round table. Hope I did a decent job for you last night.
I watched half the show so far. You're still fired, but it's fine. You did a good job. Yeah.
Well, I tried.
My final shot to you, Nick, is left hand up.
Yes, left hand up. Yeah,
I was gonna say before I let you go,
those haters can't stand us.
Yeah, I do think for us, and all of us are over the age of 40. Okay, this feels so good to have Washington and Chicago both be good. In the 80s, it was year after year meeting in the playoff.
Yes.
Good defenses, good teams, everything like that. We've both been in the drought. Now, you guys went to the Super Bowl a lot sooner than we had, since a lot closer in time, but it feels good for us both to be playing for something and both be relevant again.
100%. Again, I'm hoping that this is the trend now, that we're going back to that, because we've seen for years, right? I mean, the 49ers got good again. That was one of our rivals in the 80s as well. But I want to see these teams resurge themselves. I would like to see the Lions be good again, which they are. But I'd like to see that. I'd like to see the Bears come back up, Washington come back up. I'm an old school guy. I'm running in defense, baby. You know that. This new NFL, I'm not a big fan of. The odds cater to the offense, fine. I like running in defense myself. So I love that the teams that were once mighty are trying to make that comeback and be good again. I love it. Yeah. So, yes, for me, this is phenomenal. I think it's great. Again, best of luck, boys. But I think we all know who's going to win on Sunday. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. We know we are.
Yeah,
Yo,
exactly.
My guy, big time. Appreciate you, Nick. We will definitely see you next time, man. Appreciate you.
Thank you, guys. Have a good night, guys. Thank you so much.
Yep.
You too, man. Yeah, buddy. Thank you so much to our guy, Nicholas Rosario, for joining the show. But I think that's about it for us today. Will, hey, we got the Bears. This is, like you said, a rubber match. We don't know what's going to happen with Jaden, but at the same time, I still am confident in what we have and what our coaches have and how we're kind of building up that even if we don't have them, we
they
still
can be competitive.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And maybe even pull a squeaker. But remember, if Mariota does come in and win, you never going to hear the end of that.
It's over.
Carson Wentz and Marcus Mariota beat you.
Right.
Over. You are done. Yo, but look, we got to get out of here, man. For my guy, Will Kramer, it's your boy, Sean Spencer. We appreciate you guys joining in the comments. Nathan, Ab, Tina, Christian Benedy, going back to high school.
Fun night.
Oh, yeah, definitely. But we're going to let you guys go. And as you know, there's only one way we end this show. Left hand up, baby. Peace, people.
Gibbs, you got a good chance. Let me tell you something about some good fans. Back in the day, RFK was our palace. If you don't know, you need to ask about us. Think we're gonna lose? Well, I can't believe you doubt us. Had the whole crowd screaming out, "We want Dallas!" Those haters can't stand us. Left hand up. Who are we? The Commanders. We fight for RDC. Who are we? The Commanders. Left hand up. Who are we? Burgundy and gold. We rock that. Our offense, you can't stop that. Right in front of that first down is where you get dropped at. I know you know this. We're focused. Your fan base is hopeless. When you take an L, y'all